How you doing today?
It's a purse that you can buy from Disney. I'm not selling it. I was gifted this. Somebody was suggesting maybe it's what you put your Juilliard diploma in. I was gifted this just over there. Oh, Juilliard diploma. Well, I sort of left my third year, but let's not, I had other things to do.
It worked out.
Yeah, things are doing all right. Yeah.
You've been on the stage many times, obviously on set.
Yeah.
What was the journey like? Announcing here.
What was great was, we announced at New York Comic Con, but today when we were, finishing Resident Alien, the stage that we were on, the last time I was on that stage in that room, was for this thing, Con Man, second season, and we did a musical number from Of Mice and Men. We did a musical in Con Man, Of Mice and Men, called I'm Was Stupid, and it was with Lou Ferrigno, and anyway, we did a number from the musical that Con Man, which is about cons. And so the last time I was there, it was this huge party of a song and dance, and that ended. And this has begun, and now this is ending, but the fans are still there. There's 4,000 people. It just felt like, there's a continuity beyond just one project. So, yeah, it's helpful. Yeah.
I know James for Dr. Phosphorus. You brought that to life. What about Dr. Phosphorus coming to live action? Did you play that?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to play Dr. Phosphorus in a live action. We're going to do a season 2 on animated for HBO Max. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I would definitely do that. I'd love to. He's a great villain.
So over the course of you playing Harry, what would you say is your proudest moment in your character arc?
Proudest moment in my character arc? There's so many. It was so absurd. I mean, the character was so... I'm glad he didn't destroy the earth. That was a good moment for him. But then he's like, he loves Asta and says, when you're my friend, and she says, yes, okay. Well, then I will not destroy the earth. I should go because bomb's about to go off. Oh, real quick. I got a bunch of pizzas in my place. That was so much fun. Maybe if you want to say, yeah, just go, take the bomb away. Yeah, all right. There were so many. Yeah, I'm glad he didn't kill everybody. Yeah. Thank you.
Going through 4 seasons of doing this show, are you going to miss, or are you not going to miss having to put on the prosthetics?
I got to tell you, there was a 2-hour process, unless it was the bigger suit when he fully aliens out. That was more of a 3-hour process. The people who put him on the prosthetics, Ashley and the gang, it was always Ashley and then whoever else. There was a bunch of different people who came in, but it was always Ashley. They were so cool. I didn't mind it because it was all we did was listen to music, and so it was like this 2-hour thing of listening to music and then being awesome, cool people talking and having that connection. I really enjoyed. I should have hated it, and I didn't at all. Didn't at all because of the people.
I'm a big DC fan, Star Wars fan, and I was wondering, your voice acting roles, how does that compare to what the acting has been? People seem to love to cast you in multiple roles.
Right?
You've met several characters.
You know what's wild? Is my first thing I did out of school was a play off Broadway where I played 24 roles in the play. It was a 3-person play. 2 people played the same people throughout time, and then I played everybody else. So I'd come in, it's a French waiter, and I would say some stupid, silly thing, and then I would run off stage, and then come on the other side in a wig and a dress, set because Jesus, my boyfriend just left me, and then I'd leave there, and I come out in a big sort of fat suit where I only got one eye and I lost my thumbs on a lathe. That was my first success off Broadway, and it started my career. And people could cast me on stage because I had some cachet. My name kind of meant something, and then I just built from there. And that's true. I still do lots of little character roles, lots of over here and there, and even in Resident Alien, playing 2 roles in the same. Or all those different roles. I love it. It's definitely, it's very theatrical. You'll see that done in plays a lot. Where people will. I did Spam a lot for a while, and I played the knight who says "me." I played Lancelot. I played the French Taunter. I played Tim the Enchanter. So, it's something I do. So I lean on that. It's been helpful. And in voices, it's even easier to do because you don't have to look like so many different people. They draw it in. You just have to make your voice sound.
What was your experience like directing the first episode of season 4? And at that point, did you know that it would be your last season?
I had a sense that it would be. Because I directed, actually, I had a sense it would be. This last season where we moved over to USA, they were trying to make the finances of it all work. And it was clear to me that it wasn't working. The broadcast television model, which we were on, can't support a show like ours, even though our show, budget-wise, compared to other network shows and a lot of other shows, it is not an expensive show. But it's too expensive for broadcast TV now. And there were a lot of budget cuts before we started the season. So I was, for the first time, getting to work with the entire production team. So people in props, people in the set design, everything. And they were all having to make cuts. And so I saw firsthand a lot of people frustrated that they can't do as good of a job as they wanted. And for me, it felt like, we've gotten to the point now where the budget constraints are too hard to make work.
Yeah.
And I think we did make it work for the last season, but it was because of all those people coming together and really kind of giving 150%.
That's beautiful.
Which they probably were only paid for 100%. The 50% was on their own dime. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
It's sad, It speaks to what's going on in our industry. Our industry is going through a change. What's going to be on the other side, I don't know. I ran into a producer, and she was saying, we're going through a change. The music industry went through a change, and we came out the other side, and everything's fine. Well, I don't know if that's true. I mean, yes, we enjoy a lot of music still, but I don't think people are getting paid for music anymore. It's changed. You make your money in tours now, and music's free, kind of. It's so maybe we're headed there. Acting might be free. I don't know. Huh?
Please don't work for free. You're too talented.
Yeah. I think there just needs to be some more. I think it's just endemic of what's happening all over the world and in business. Everything's become corporatized, and the profits have gone up. And they just make cuts to make it work. Well, and then at a certain point it breaks. We're at that point. Just, oh God, that sounds so awful. But we are.
Just stay on James Gunn's good side. We'll be okay.
James Gunn's good side. Okay. Yes.
Part of that blockbuster that is Superman.
Oh yeah.
Small part of it.
Yeah, no, it was great. I got to go to. We shot that in Atlanta, and they built the his Fortress of Solitude. It was a practical set, and so I just hung out with Superman for about a month
That's awesome.
in the Fortress of Solitude.
That is awesome.
I did. I was really. It's like, why am I 4? And it's a funny reason why he's 4. It's that Superman was making robots. The first one was kind of bad, so he perfected it into a 2, still not so good. And it wasn't until 4 that he's like, okay, this is the leader. This is the one. But I was like, I really would like a name. And David, Superman, Corn Sweat, was like, yeah, you should totally have a name. I said, what about Gary? And James was like, I don't know. Okay, I guess. Let's shoot it. And we shot it. And I thanked him at the premiere. And he said, you won't believe how many meetings we had about that name. So we went back and forth about whether or not that was a time for a joke. Should we just be all heart at the end, you know?
Yeah.
And luckily they put it in because I think it was a heartful joke. You know, it was about him wanting to, you know, he loves that robot. That's one of the reasons why the robot's so likable. It's because Superman loves him. You know, he cares about him. So we care about him as an audience. Yeah, David's great.
I didn't even catch that he said Gary the first time.
I didn't either. And I was there the day when he filmed it. And I remember him saying it, but I missed it. And Nathan Fillion told me. Yeah.
So how much of number 4 or Gary is improvised?
I don't know. I didn't do. There was just that, and maybe like a little bit more, just like a word or two there. Nothing big, like Trash and the dog. The dog. What a great character.
All right, we gotta get going.
Well, thank you for your
Thanks,
time.
y'all.
Let me ask you, when it comes to the show and your character at the beginning of the season, trying to figure out what the heck happened to him, and then continuing to try to figure that out, what was like unraveling that mystery as a character, as you were acting, just what happened to the show?
Yeah, you know, I think Mike had some experiences that had him questioning his sanity, and sometimes the most obvious answer is not always the one you want to believe. I think at this phase of the game in season 4 of our show, the most obvious answer was there are fucking aliens invasions. But I think his reluctance to accept that, I think it's a normal reaction in a lot of ways. I think a lot of people are very skeptical about aliens. And when you're talking about law enforcement in particular, you work with evidence, you work with things you can prove, not necessarily things you speculate on. Speculation can lead to you pursuing proof, but speculation itself isn't proof. But I think there got to be too many things that were undeniable for Mike that he would have come across as a bad investigator at some point if he did not come to the conclusion that he came to.
That's great. And as far as the season and the show now ending, did you guys know that when you were on set? Did you guys found that more recently?
We had an idea that it was possible and quite possible. I honestly didn't think it was going to happen. And even up until when Chris called, I still didn't think it was going to happen. I still don't think it's over. I think and maybe I'm being naive, I think that there's too much storytelling, I think, in this little Vanderverse that's been created to simply walk away. So if I'm a betting man, I would feel pretty safe betting that could be something more. at some point.
Right there with you.
Yeah. That's it. Could be wishful thinking. I'm not giving anyone any breadcrumbs or trying to wink, being coy in any way. Maybe I'm just not ready to let go yet. But I don't think it's completely done.
So
I think this chapter is done, but I don't think the world that we live in is done, in my opinion.
So over the course of the show, we know that Mike is tough and has a sharp personality, but we also seen his softer, I guess you could say more vulnerable side.
Yeah.
How do you navigate balancing and portraying both sides of the coin?
That's a great question. It's challenging in some ways because I can't remember if it was on the panel or in one of the other interviews. It's difficult playing an asshole.
Yeah.
It is because you still need to be likable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where the comedy comes in with Mike as well. I think it was also really important to be able to identify why he is the way that he is.
Mm-hmm.
If you know why he is the way that he is, you may be more accepting of the way that he is.
Mm-hmm.
So to discover that a lot of his cantankerous nature comes from him being hurt and trying to protect himself from being hurt again, of him suffering a loss and trying to protect himself from suffering loss again. When you've been really hurt by something, sometimes you'll do almost anything to make sure that never happens again.
That's true.
It reminds me of the story when Michael Jordan tells when he didn't make his basketball team.
Yeah.
And he said that hurt that he felt, he was like, I want to make sure I never feel that again. So I'm going to be the very, very best. Very different in this scenario. But I think it is that sense of wanting to protect that little boy in him that created all the walls and barriers to try to not be vulnerable. But having a partner like Liz allowed him, I think, to feel like he can let her in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was a conduit to the audience accepting Mike. I think the fact that she maintained her place for Mike gave the audience permission to maintain their place for Mike. I don't think Mike would have worked without Liz. I don't. I think people would be like, dude, fuck this guy. Yeah, seriously, this guy, man. I don't know what this guy's problem is.
He's not
like that. But she never lost faith in him, and she never lost hope in him because I think she could see that there was something more.
Mm-hmm.
So her perseverance, I think, created some audience perseverance, and then eventually that gave enough time for Mike to kind of. I also wanted to be careful because even though there's this newfound respect for Liz, he's still who he is.
Yes.
So again, trying to find that balance of being a likable asshole is. Someone pointed out to me, they said the closest that they could come up with was Dwight on The Office. You know what I mean? Total asshole, but you liked him. You know what I mean? There was something, you let it slide. You know what I mean? And that's that fine line, that threading that we've tried to do with this character as well.
That's beautiful.
Listen, growing up a homo kid in Richmond, Virginia, what was it like finding a home on a show like that?
Good question.
I really wanted to do something that I hadn't seen before. Interesting story. When I booked this show, I booked another show at the exact same time, and and so I had an opportunity that actors don't get very often. I got to choose between the two. They were both out of the same. They were both at NBC Universal. They were both going to pay exactly the same. It was just a matter of which do you think is going to fit. And the other show was great. I'm not going to name it because it came and it was on the air and now it's gone. And it was gone after the first season. But I remember when I read this, I had never read anything like it. I had never seen a character like Mike. I had never seen a black dude on TV acting like this. And so part of my goal was to do something that I hadn't seen. And so that's what I think that's why I tried to make him as weird as possible. You know what I mean? Like it pushed the envelope as much as Chris will let me go.
Yeah.
You know, and they've reeled me back in. I can remember there was one. Oh my gosh, you guys never saw this because it was cut, but I think it was in season 2, and Deputy Liv and I are at the grocery store, and we're standing in line, and I'm buying a Hot Wheels car, and Sahar is there, and she was going to go get something, and we see her, and she grabs a box of tampons, and she's like, "I'm buying. Don't talk to me. I'm buying tampons. I'm embarrassed, right?" And then we just turn away. Well, in one of the takes, I was dry heaving as she was talking. She was sitting there, "Don't talk to me. I'm buying tampons," and I was just like. He just looked at me. And I was like, I just like, yeah. But yeah. Oh, copy that. Well, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Hello. How are you?
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Gotta eat when you can. You know? Hi there. Hi there. Honestly, my favorite part about, well, I'll say this. I got to hang out of a helicopter, and I got to do so many badass things that were really just like I got to play baseball. I played baseball on a co-ed team in LA. That's how I met my fiance, actually. And we did a baseball scene, and no one in Canada knows how to play baseball. So it was just me and a mostly male crew of like 100 guys, and I'm explaining to them like what an infield fly rule is, you know? And it was like my dream come true. Like I'm mansplaining sports to a bunch of dudes, and Chris is watching me just like, you know, it's like the best thing ever. So yeah, it's the hijinks. It's how Chris writes for me. I always miss that.
I feel like the camaraderie is really palpable in Mars. Do you think about like what the culture was like on set the last 4?
Oh my God. I mean, one thing is that no one is. I think when you make a show with everybody like who's over 30, except for the kids, there's something to that. Like, you know, there's a maturity that people have either worked in other industries for a really long time, or we're like, maybe we've worked on a lot of shows, we've seen it all, and we all brought our like kind of professional maturity to it, but at the same time we all cut ups, and it took a minute for us to learn. Like I think for me, Corey and it took me a minute to learn, you know, what Corey's about. You know, like I love making people laugh and stuff, but he's a bit of machismo, Corey, and he can really talk, you know what I mean? And so at first when I'm a talker as well, so when two talkers get into a situation, like, it's like, he's going on and on, you know? It's like, I can get in here, whatever. And then gradually I realized, like, that's why they don't write us in scenes together. Is because when they do, we're just like, bat. Like, we were talking today, and I was like, they could take us to CCOT, and we would not notice. We'd be like getting our heads shaved, and be like, and that's another thing. Like, you know, we don't know. Because we're just, So, we love each other.
That's great. What was it like, the reception, as far as the fans? How did that make you feel this final season?
I mean, it made me feel all the feelings, I guess. I mean, you can possibly imagine. There's just like this love out there, and it's growing, you know? People are still discovering the show today.
Yes.
And so it's kind of weird that we have to do this ending thing, but who knows? You know, I just like, that's what I think filming this show has taught me, especially in this industry. Like, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so don't make plans.
So your character is bold, very witty, but we also, throughout the course of the series, we've seen her what people wouldn't consider so strong. How do you find yourself bringing a part of you to the character, or you find being a struggle to balance those roles?
I'd say both. It's, you know, like in season 2, for instance, Darcy really, that was really hard for me. I was saying to my partner, like, you know, we'd have conversations with phone, and I'd be like, he's like, are you in the dark place? I was like, I have to be in the dark place, because like for 5 days on end, I'm shooting those scenes where she's kind of like taking her life apart piece by piece, and in many ways you can't bounce back from that. You can't just go home and be like, all right, what's everybody having? It's just because like Corey said in the panel, the emotions are real. We draw from real emotions, and I think Darcy is written after part of who I used to be before I was in recovery. So that's tough, but it's also super meaningful, and I'm really grateful to play a character that's very strong and bold, who eventually learns how to surrender and reach out for help.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's a good question. Yeah. All right. And that's all we have time for. So sorry, but we have Sarah.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi, good to
Hello.
see you again.
Hello.
Good. Hi.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I know we spoke last week, you were so excited to premiere the show. We're here now. An announcement. How did you interact with the fans? How did you interact with the cast? What's that experience been like today for you guys?
I'm sure this word's been used, but it's very bittersweet. I've been saying it's a lot like a graduation. We're all like celebrating our triumphs. We're proud of each other. We want to see each other grow and get beyond this point, and we want to root each other on. But it's also like you can feel a real shift happening underneath everything that's so significant, just like you do when you graduate. That sadness and grief of like, oh, that time in my life is moving on now. It doesn't mean you won't still be friends with those people. It doesn't mean you won't have other times in your life that are even better or whatever. It's just you have to take this moment to grieve. You have to take this moment to acknowledge how far you've come and be grateful for that. And honestly, it's very surreal to have this day finally arrive, because we've been told for seasons that we were going to get canceled just because of the time and temperament, COVID, 2 strikes. Like the fact that we made it this far is really just a testament to our fans, I think. I'm like, sure, network and studio, but like the fans are watching, so they get the numbers because of the fans. So that's the direct connect.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've been crying all day, but I'm exhausted now.
So,
Now I just need a nap. You're welcome.
so what has it been like portraying a leading Native American woman, and what does representation means to you?
Thanks for asking.
Of course.
I've learned so much about myself by being on the show and what representation means to me for what I was taught by my family.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I came into this, I was told one thing by my family about what they thought I was, what they thought, what we thought our tribe was.
Mm-hmm.
And by meeting other Indigenous actors in this show, by having that much representation, by having those conversations on the daily, and by even having a conversation with Chris at the start that said, hey, I don't really know if it's accurate, but it's not entirely accurate because it's hearsay. Your family just tells you something.
Yeah.
So I feel like we had a conversation at the start, which was, I want to be honest and authentic to this experience of her not knowing. And that's me too. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I was raised with this one knowledge, and I'm still trying to find out who I am.
Yeah.
And that was so true for me, Sarah, as well, while I was on the show. So the representation mattered so much to me, but also me and Asta being honest about, I don't know where I fit in, felt really honest too. And I've learned so much since then. I've done my own research. I've figured out that we are Southeastern tribal roots. We can't, everywhere I went sort of led to a dead end, because a lot of Indigenous families were split apart when they were younger, and they had no idea, they were told one thing and put in different places. So I feel like I got to a place where I learned that it's best for me to just be an ally. I didn't grow up on the reservation. Like, I grew up, in Virginia. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's been so cool to meet people who do have that, and to learn from them and to let them speak and to be like, what's your experience? Because I think it's really easy to just look at someone and just put them in a box.
Yeah.
And I don't fit one box,
Mm-hmm.
but I can represent that.
Yes,
And that's been really powerful for me and Asta on the show.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. So you be playing the character Asta. Do you feel like you're taking that character with you as you go on in life? Or do you feel like she's a part of you?
Oh yeah. I mean, she's so much more like zipped up than I am. I'm like, look, I'm loud, right? She would never wear these colors. She would never highlight her hair. But but there's something soft and tender and patient about her. And not to say that I'm not those things, but she's taught me to just like slow down and really be very meaningful in all my conversations and in my relationships. And I think this whole show has taught me to be not take anything for granted. Like, just because you're service regular on a show doesn't mean the next day you don't have to start from scratch again. And like, until you're part of the 1%, for all of us in all these jobs and all this like life we're living, we all have to hustle. We all have to like try to fill up that soul cup. So I'm just grateful I got to do it for 7 years on this show. And now I'm like, what comes next? You know? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.